Team, what is up? It's been a little while, but in between podcasts, we've had a little session going on called the Bow Hunters Challenge. This program is a program that I designed for bow hunters. And we had a fair few men jump on the program, and we had some awesome results. Like the first 12 weeks I went through, first cycle, it was really fun. Got to really know some of the dudes on there, and to be honest, they had some awesome results. Like one of the guys lost over 10 kgs. A lot of the guys just kind of implemented and found a lot of stuff that they can implement into their lives. We had some shift workers. We had some people who were like FIFO who were doing the program. And they just found that there were so many things in the program that they could adapt to their day-to-day life, or things that they could adapt into ongoing life that will help them to just feel better, get better energy, perform better in the mountains when they actually get out and get hunting. And so this gives you guys the chance to actually join in and do the challenge. We are giving away a Ventum, Ventum 33, so Hoyt. This is courteous of Hoyt, but also I'm paying for it, but also Abbey Archery have really hooked me up with getting this kind of set up. And we've got a whole heap of people on board who've jumped in to help out and make it completely hunt ready. So you're going to get a bow, you're going to get the arrows, you're going to get broadheads, you're going to get fill points, you're going to get literally everything. Wrist release, like this bow is set and ready to go. All you guys need to do is sign up for the Bow Hunters Challenge. Now, we are launching again. The next 12-week cycle is on the 14th of June is when we're restarting. So what that means is that you have to sign up before the 14th of June. This is the last chance to get in on that challenge. And what that will do is put you in the draw for the bow, for the Ventum bow, the Hoyt Ventum 33. So that is getting released. That will get drawn, on the 30th of June. So this is the last chance for you guys to do this 12-week cycle. I actually don't even know. I will redo the challenge at some point, but this is the last time I'm going to do it in the foreseeable future. So if you're interested in dropping a little bit of winter weight or just keeping more motivated this winter, as well as just improving your general life, your general health, your general fitness, then I'd really recommend the program. There's a lot of stuff that comes with the program, and if you guys have any questions, I think maybe the best thing to do is reach out to me. If not, you can go to bowhunterschallenge.com, or you can jump in via my Instagram page where I've got some stuff on there as well about the challenge. So 14th of June is the next date. If you're umming and ahhing, have a chat to me because I'm not going to just sell it to you. I'm literally going to tell you whether you're a perfect fit or not for it. I do want people who actually give us stuff and who do actually want this to happen for them. It's not just about, it's not a sit there and do nothing program. There actually is a requirement of you to do some stuff to get some results. And the results speak in volumes. You will get some really good results for doing that. So if you guys are interested, like I said, reach out or go to bowhunterschallenge.com. Hey there, and welcome to Becoming a Bow Hunter. I'm your host, Matty, and join me and our guests as we take the quality of meat back into our own hands, searching the wild for free-ranged animals to harvest as ethically as we can. I interview a variety of specialists from the bow hunting community to help fast-track your journey as a bow hunter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this chinwag on one of your favorite topics in the world, bow hunting. Guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Bow Hunter. I feel like a broken record when I say this, but it's been a while. It's been a hot minute, and life has just got its priorities, and so far this year, this podcast has not been one of them for me. So with having a young family, having 2 businesses and stuff underway, getting out and hunting still, and still enjoying life, this has kind of taken a back seat. But we are here, and we have some more episodes, and I'm excited to actually announce that there are a fair few episodes coming out in the coming weeks, which is awesome for you guys, awesome for your ears, awesome for your entertainment. Today's episode is with Jack Pogson. He is from GetnOutdoorz and just an all-round good dude. Really enjoyed the conversation with Jack. He took us through the rooster hunt that he's been on recently, just as well as some of the products that he's offering over at GetnOutdoorz. So, I mean, this podcast, it kind of jumps all over the place a little bit with just a bit of his interest in filming and photography of nature, as well as the hunts that he's been on, as well as even just down to talking about setups of cars and stuff with Getting Outdoors more. So, yeah, go ahead, check out his website, GetnOutdoorz.com. It's getting with an N on the end, no I, and then outdoors with a Z at the end. So GetnOutdoorz.com and check out his gear. You can also follow him at Getting Outdoors on Instagram. So, yeah, check this one out, guys. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I hope you guys are tuning in for the coming weeks as well. Hope you're getting out hunting, all that fun stuff. Enjoy. Guys, welcome back to another episode. Sitting here with Jack Pogson. Jack, welcome.
How are you, Matty? How's things?
Oh, dude, I'm very well. It's been a while since I've done a little podcast, to be honest. I don't know. It's just been a busy-ish time of year. I actually started a new business, so I've got two now, which is just a handful in itself. But that's all. That will unfold, I guess, as it comes. But yeah, I mean, talking about you, dude. So you run a little business yourself, calling Getting Outdoors. And I actually came across one of your videos once on Instagram stories, and it helped me a lot in regards to just the way I was fletching my arrows, and I was losing veins. Like I reckon, I don't know, every week I was losing a vein off of my arrows that I was shooting. It was frustrating the hell out of me because I just thought it was part of it. I was like, oh yeah, okay, just got to sit down every few weeks and revein your arrows or refletch your arrows. And then I came across one of the videos that you did, and it was talking about the glues that you use, the way that you use them, and the actual kind of the layout that you use. And since then, I've shot multiple arrows through multiple animals and still using those same arrows. Like literally the only arrows I've lost on my fletching is because, the only fletchings I've lost on my arrows is from where either the wraps have ripped or from where I was practicing on my target and I shot through one of my fletchings. So that's the two arrows I've lost since then, apart from the ones I've actually lost in the grass somewhere and out in the bush. So I think, I think what would be cool to start with, Jack, is actually talking about your setup for that. Like what do you go through if you remember your glues and everything like that? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, that's a massive problem, seems to be all the time. And that's the thing, like obviously you want an arrow set up that's pretty hardy. We're lucky we get to hunt 365 days a year, and really, man, it costs a bomb to be replacing arrows all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, the main thing I probably do with my fletchers is obviously keep everything clean.
Yeah,
that's the first step. I go between using wraps and then not using wraps, depending.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with my arrows, a lot of the branding and the logos are on those wraps.
Yep.
But depending on, I have had some odd batches and some dodgy batches, and I just, same again, like once you put them through a critter, I find that those wraps can just like kind of peel back and rip. And like, obviously, if you're sending a dozen arrows out, I'd rather them to be solid, like not come off. Like I want them to be able to go through multiple animals and reuse.
Mm-hmm.
But just the tip and tail trick. So obviously I've got that many different types of glues. I toss between them all, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's really mostly just got to do with the viscosity and how well you can use them.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep everything clean and you're using most glues these days are pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, all your AAEs or even your boning platinums, like they're all really good. They've got all different properties though, all different viscosities.
Yeah.
Which is virtually just like how runny it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So depending on your setup and how quickly you're building them, obviously some guys don't like really runny stuff. Some guys are good with runny stuff. Some guys like gluggy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that platinum boning, just the tip and the tail, just build up a little blob.
Yeah.
And it just like it's just a bit of armor.
Yeah.
So it won't lift that little those corners of those fletchers. So
yeah, that was literally the game changer for me. Like I was using Loctite 401, I think it was, which is a really runny glue. And pretty much the way it works is as soon as there's air missing, that's when it sticks.
Yeah.
Right? Like as soon as oxygen's missing. Whereas I think I changed completely to the AAE stuff that you recommended. And like I said, it has not fallen off at all. Like they've been absolutely solid.
Yeah. Like it definitely, if you're going to use a wrap, using that AAE pen, which is just like, it's just a primer pen.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, depending on if I can get my hands on it, like I've actually taken mine apart and just filled it back with metho as well.
Yeah.
But just like to fully clean that bottom, because we all know how we put them in the jig. We use our finger to line it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Just that little oil, like that little bit of oil from your hands, like just clean as hell. And then, yeah, when you do that tip and tail, it's like obviously you still lose fletchers every now and again. But if you can shoot through the target, like I'm a tight ass man. I don't shoot right and hearts. I go to the tip. I get 4 bodyboards.
Yeah.
I tape them together.
That's great.
And after a while, like they'll blow through the target. But if you're not losing fletchers through a target, then you should be pretty good to put that through a couple of critters, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think I shot through a pig and then I went and picked that same arrow up and took another shot through a pig. And like a different pig, and there was no worries whatsoever. It's still in my quiver.
Yeah.
And I literally, even through the red deer that I shot last year, I'm still running the same arrows from that quiver. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty good stuff.
That's the plan, man. And like out of all the different brands of arrows and stuff that I've shot over the years, I don't know if you would have heard of him, or I'm pretty sure his name was Dan Seymour, but Flight Tech.
Yeah, okay.
And that's like he was the same. So he used to hand make all his arrows, send them out per dozen, and that was like I remember fully looking at his arrows and just how well they were made, and that's virtually where that come from. But yeah, like because man, if you're taking pretty solid shots all the time, a set of 12 arrows will last you a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't find that was actually happening for me. Like I said, I was busting through arrows kind of almost every week, or at least just the fletchings and stuff. So it was sucky because I bought a pack of 100 of each of my colors, and I smashed through them so quickly. And it's like I literally found your tips just in that last kind of, I think it was probably the last dozen that I probably had actual access to. So a bit unfortunate, but that's all right.
Man, that's bow hunting.
Exactly right.
Just throw the money in the bucket, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how long have you been hunting for, Jack?
Not a whole lot, man. Like, I've dipped and dabbled in it back and forth, I guess, like my whole life. Mm-hmm. But getting really serious probably in my probably like 19, early 20s, I reckon.
Yeah.
So it was funny how I kind of got into bow hunting. Like, I had family and stuff, had property down south, and obviously like family and stuff had rifles and all the rest of it. And then living where I do on the south coast, like having the rooster all around here, and you know, like it was always I had a few mates who'd done it. It was always around, but then it wasn't until my partner, her stepfather, got a property out west. We got some really good access, and my brother bought me a bow one, Chrissy.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like my old boy had actually said to him, like, just a muck around one, you know, that we could have all have fun with in the backyard. And he ended up going all out. Like, at the time it was terrible, but you know, it was quite on the expensive side for my brother who's younger than me. Yeah. So then, and I worked with a bloke at the time as well, and he was right into it, and he was like, yeah, come over. Like, so he fast tracked me really quick, like sighting it in, sorting it all out.
That's awesome.
Man, I just grabbed this sport and I loved it. Really, I did. And it just, went on and on and on, and still here, I guess, like 10 years down the track, still love it as much as I can.
Dude, that's sick. That's sick. And so I do actually want to ask you about that rooster that you've gone after recently, the one that that's like the most recent hunt you've been on? Yeah. And so I never actually knew that they were all kind of around you. Is this one of the blocks that you go to a lot, or?
Definitely. Yeah. Like this, like it would probably be my closest block to home to hunt for sure. Yeah. yeah, man, like where I live, there's rooster nearly everywhere.
That's crazy.
I guess, yeah, like it all started like this, man, I don't know all the facts, and there's heaps of other guys that know so much more about them than I do. But from what I've been told is they got released in the Northern National Park from where I live, probably like over 100 years ago. And they've just pushed further south, and like our whole escarpment's pretty well full.
That's crazy. Do you know numbers around you?
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. On numbers. That they constantly run culls and all the rest of it. It's quite difficult where we are. Like it's because we're such a coastal kind of town.
Yeah.
All the private property is quite small. Mm-hmm. So like it's not like a fallow hunt or like a mountain boar hunt where you get multiple opportunities. It's virtually like you I guess you would almost put it like whitetail hunting.
Yeah.
So like you're setting your cameras, you're sitting up high, you're waiting for those small opportunities for them to pass through your blocks, and then getting your opportunities.
Yeah. So like I've not really talked that much about rooster on here. So they're pretty elusive deer.
Yeah, like
well, if you're compared to whitetail,
I guess, yeah. Like I mean, compared to say like your fallow and your reds, like they're pretty solitary. Definitely not like sambar. Like they still like it's nothing to be driving through kind of where we live and see pretty big herds of like does or hinds.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they very, very similar to life, I guess, to like a fallow or something. Like they're finding good feed. They're in normal areas. And then come rut time, like they kind of got a rut that is pretty aggressive, like the fallow, but they're a little bit like it's a mix between a roar and almost like an elk squeal sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's definitely some really weird sounds. They're more predominantly kind of like a roar.
Yep.
But there's a few that they get this really weird low pitch kind of squeal. And
I'm going to play it really quickly. I'll just see how this works out because you won't hear it, but I will, and I think the listeners will.
Sweet.
Just some guy's video, John Higgins.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a... Oh, wow. That sounds like a red.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's almost like a teenage red, right?
Pretty much, man. They're cool. It's definitely different.
And so the female calls is kind of similar to a red then as well, right? Like he almost let out like a...
Oh, nah, not at all. I'd say probably more like elk.
Okay.
So like for calling calling on the females, like I use just like a Phelps mouth reed, which is like there's heaps of other guys that know so much more about this than me. I feel very underqualified.
Cool. I mean, the fact that you've just gone through and done it obviously gives you some credibility.
Yeah, but yeah, like a little bit more high pitched, I'd say, than an elk cow, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's what I use, and it seems to pull them up. Like I think with fallow, like you can use your mouth.
Yeah. You
can just make that sound. You could probably do the same with rooster, but I find the higher pitch, like they know the difference.
Yeah, okay. And do they come into calls? Oh my God, my mic's just stuffing up. Do they come into calls like a red or a fallow would?
Yeah, so because like obviously the blocks are quite small here, that's predominantly kind of what you're trying to do. Like obviously to shoot an animal, not knowing of your presence is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, yeah.
But then especially leading into the rut and stuff, to pull them away, like, or they do, like they'll come into a rattle, they'll come into a doe call, they do, and you'll be able to pull them up too. Like they're quite a big animal, and I don't know, like kind of like I guess you'd say they're quite heavy boned.
Yeah,
like they just seem like fallow will they'll blow out before your eyes. Like chittle probably the same. Whereas with rooster, like you can commonly pull them up at the 30 if you do bump them and just give that little call. Obviously still aware of your presence, but yeah, I guess they like to just see what was just going through their little living room.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's super interesting. And are they large like a red? Like are they pretty similar in size to a red deer? Do you know?
I think, well, as it goes, I'm pretty sure Samba would be the biggest.
Yep.
Red are the second, and then
Rooster.
yeah, like there's two different types of rooster as well. So like
that's what I thought.
Yeah, so like down here we've got the Javan rooster, and then up north, like around Queensland, there's the Moluccan or however they say it, which is quite smaller.
Okay.
But yeah, man, they're quite large. Like that one I shot the other week, man, I'd almost put him like live weight over 100 kilo. He was
definitely
hard to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite large. Not quite as tall as a red. I mean, I haven't had really much to do with reds at all.
Okay.
But big bodied, like that's what put me onto this one, knowing he was a mature kind of stag, was because of just the size of his body.
And so that's a pretty mature guy, the one that you knocked over?
Oh, there's much bigger, I guess.
Yeah.
But like health-wise, like I guess he'd say he's pretty on the larger scale. But they do grow much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was just wrapped with him. Like,
dude, he's impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah.
With their headgear, their antlers, they usually just grow the three prongs, don't they? Pretty much.
Yes. So they got a main beam. So pretty much very similar to Samba, except their inner. Well, they have their main beam, which is their inner, and then they have an outer. Mm-hmm. Whereas kind of the Samba will go and fork.
Yeah.
And so they'll have an outer and then an inner, but their main beam's more their outer. And like your stock standard symmetrical rooster is like they almost come up parallel. So like chase each other straight up, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like your standard roosters just got your brows, your main beam, and then your outer up the top.
Yeah, dude, that's sick. And so, like, what sort of feed are they on? Just mainly anything green, or are they're pretty picky?
They so they're pretty like they love the thick stuff. Obviously, they do come out on the fringe country. They won't come right out and open.
Okay.
I mean, all deer can kind of slip up, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual to see them in the open, but we like kind of the areas that I always find them in is like heaps of lantana. So like that fringe bush country, and they just make these big tunnels in the lantana, and it's thick, thick and nasty. Like if you were to really, with the box that I have in like where we are, to hunt them, I guess in their turf would just be nearly impossible. Like you've really got to get them coming through those windows and in those open spots.
It's so impressive to see like how an animal with that much headgear can actually get through a small tunnel like that, right? Like it's so impressive.
They tilt their head back and they get pretty streamlined. Like if you Google up some YouTube videos, or like there's a really good book that a local guy from down here wrote as well, Aaron Grant. Yeah. It's just called Roosa. Like there's some awesome information on that, and like it's crazy. Like there's photos of them like 30-inch plus heads, and he'll just tilt his head back and it's streamlined.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm going to write that in now so I can look it up later. I remember like one of the reds I was chasing over the rut this year, he just had a big impressive headgear on him, and to get underneath this overhanging log, he just pretty much turns his whole head on the side just to even be able to duck under stuff. And it's just impressive to kind of watch them. They obviously, they live with it and they know it's there, but it's impressive to kind of see them actually maneuver it.
Yeah, that's it, eh? No, that's, I guess if it's on you and you live with it, you get used to it.
Yeah. So what happened with your hunt this time around with this guy?
I guess with this one, what happened was I didn't get much time at all for fallow rut this year, and I was pretty spewing. We've got a bit the same, like just busy as at work this year. Like I'm a plumber. Yep. We're doing renovations. We've just moved into a new house, so been doing lots of renovations and stuff. And then this year, like, man, 4 of my friends have decided to get married all at very similar time. So
when it rains,
between bucks parties, between bucks parties and weddings, and the pressure's on. My partner's into me. But just been really busy. So like that window for the fallow this year, I didn't really get much time. And I guess like the more and more you get involved in this sport, like they're kind of like the grand final weekends. You really want to set your time aside and have a good crack.
Definitely.
So rolling out of that, I still got very lucky in the fallow rut. And then, you know, pretty much soon as fallow and red finished, Roosa begins to start.
Okay.
So
is it like pretty much May every year?
Oh, the rut is more like kind of July-ish, like end of May, early July. But you start looking now virtually. So they start to move around. They get to their spots. Kind of by Anzac Day, they're hard antler. Yeah. Most of the bigger ones anyway. So the smaller, the bigger rooster will tend to shed earlier, so they get that longer period of time to grow those antlers. So they're obviously the first ones coming into hard antler. Yeah. And like that was like I was lucky. Like I'd watched mine a fair bit, and then he'd just been starting to tip out. So it was like, all right, it's go time now. If he can get into a spot and like I can pattern him, now's like I can really try and make it happen now.
Watching him meaning you're watching him on your cameras?
Well, cameras and then just getting up high as well. So like this part of the property, like you can get up quite high and you can glass a few properties from this area. So,
sick.
So you kind of just get up high, watch what's happening, see where they all are. They're pretty, especially at this time of the year too, like if they're not pressured or disturbed, they're not going to go anywhere. So you really want to be pretty pedantic with those first couple of stalks, especially like when they're that hard velvet. Yeah. Because they've had all that time of the year to grow and be non-pressured. So we really want to make this one count. Yeah, definitely. So, but I was pretty lucky. So I've been watching him. It was just a late afternoon, and the property owner, because I'd told him like what was going on and where I'd be heading to, and he's like, man, he's give me a call, and he's like, they're coming out. They're coming right out on that edge that you've been talking about. Like it could be on, like, and I was like, well, like, what are you doing? Like, what? He's like, oh, I just pulled the mower out. I was about to start the ride on mower, and I'm like, please do not. I said, I've got 2 jobs left. I said, I'll get there as soon as I can. I'll mow your lawns for you tomorrow. Like, let's see if we can get this to happen, you know? And so yeah, raced around there. Got there like, there's not much time in the afternoons here. Yeah. After work, so I probably got there about 3, I reckon, 3:30, something like that. And they seemed to be moving into this corner. So with the winds and how it was all working, he could only, like, my only real proper opportunity was just this one like kind of corner. Yeah. So I just waited, and I was like, fuck it, it's happening, like it's going. Like he had a few does around him, and they'd kind of gone in that direction. I was like, all right, it's really going to happen, you know. I need to put myself in this spot now. So got in, done a big crawl through like heaps of lantana and stuff, kind of got myself set up, and was all good. The wind stayed consistent. So then the only thing that was kind of going to really stuff this up now was like the afternoon thermals. Yeah. So I just pushed myself as far as I possibly excuse me. Yeah. As far as I could go into like this corner. So at least it would have given me the most optimal time. Like obviously if I was further up, I could have got an earlier shot. Yeah. But I was just worried about that thermal. So I was like, if I go right down in this corner, it would give me the best like chance, you know, or the longest amount of time.
Corner is in a corner of a paddock or a corner of like a hill, like a ridge?
If you could imagine like if you could just imagine like a cul-de-sac almost. Yeah, yeah. Of like a clearing and then surrounded by lantana. But then obviously above me is like a hill. Yes. So that thermal's gonna switch. Yep. And then like he would be coming in, I guess, from the other direction. Yeah. So my winds were good, but then if that thermal switched, then I would have no go. Yeah. So so I just sat there virtually, and a few does fed past, and everything was just, I couldn't believe it was happening. Like he'd come through, like he was good. He was just moseying in. He was just feeding. And I remember like at full draw, he come into, I think the shot was about like 33, 34, something like that. Yeah. And like I just remember looking how good his coat was, because it's just that early in the year, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So smacked him what I thought was a great shot. Like pulled through, everything was really good. It thumped him, but they are very hardy animals, and anyone that's hunted rooster, like I'm sure they've got stories of losing them. It happens with these. They're hardy animals. And then so then he's like, he kind of done the Bronco jump and went straight into the thickest lantana, and I was like, sweet. Like the Bronco jump's
it's
pretty,
usually like a heart
pretty
shot,
good
right?
sign. Yeah, or
It's
just
usually
it's hit him, you know,
yeah.
So I was like, all good, sweet. It was getting pretty dark at this point, so I was like, well, like it's all good. It's only a Thursday. I'll go home, have dinner. We'll come back. It should be sorted, you know. I didn't want to push him any further in this real thick lantana bush.
Yeah.
So went home, had dinner, come back up with a couple of torches, head torches and everything, and brought a mate with me as well, and pretty much just got on hands and knees, man, and just started going for it, like just climbing through tunnels, follow good blood, and like anything, it struggled.
Yeah.
Couldn't find him at start. Then we lost blood, kept going. And because that was the hardest thing. Like there was just a series of it was like a rabbit warren, like tunnels and tunnels and tunnels of lantana.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the plus side of that is you're on your hands and knees already. Mm-hmm. So you're right on every single blood. But then when it dries up, you're like, where? Where's he gone? All right. So let's go back to the next tunnel. All right, let's go. You go that way. I'll go this way. So then we'd split. We'd crawl around. Like I really wish I had my Garmin on when I was doing it. It would have looked crazy. Yeah. But then and we found him a couple of hours later, and it was all good. Grip and grin time.
How far had he gone?
Oh, not very far at all. But he went the total opposite direction to what I thought.
Ah, there you go.
So he virtually where the blood dried, I would have thought he would have kept going downhill into this kind of like gully, and he kind of doubled back, went above like a slightly uphill and looped right back around. And I was like, there you go. Like what his thought process at that time was I don't know. Like,
but then maybe he was just so far gone, he just didn't really have one, right?
That's it, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Lonnie Brockman about this not so long ago because it was the same weekend we both went out shooting. We both shot pigs, and there was plenty of blood on mine, and he also had a lot of blood on his, but both of us lost our pigs. And I kind of said to him, like, I was sure that wasn't a shoo-in. Like, I was sure it was just up on top of the hill. Like, I walked up and I remember I had videoed it, and there was like, literally, it was like blood, like just splatters all over the place. I'm like, fuck, this thing is like, it's just up here. And I got up into the paddock where it had gone to, and it was pretty long grass. So I spent the next, I reckon, hour and a half, 2 hours just trying to grid this paddock out, find the blood, and I found all those dry patches, or not dry patches, but where it kind of dried up. And I hit him up and he said, what they'll usually do when an animal is injured, it will usually go back to either its the coolest spot it can find, or back to water. So in that situation, it's like the best thing to do is get back to the creek that you were hunting in, and you'll probably find the pig. But that was after the fact. So if I'd known, I would have gone back, but unfortunately I missed that opportunity. Yeah,
I have heard that. That is crazy, but I guess what you're thinking about when you're looking for him at that time too, you know, like it's so easy to just stump it, like, oh, he's gone, you know, like another one lost. Like you really don't think rationally sometimes. You just got to slow down and go, all right.
I think because we put so much time and effort and emotion goes into it, right? Like it is just not easy, but it's like, like you said, your emotions are just all over the place at that point.
Definitely, man.
I think also it's the last thing you want to do, right? You never want to injure an animal, and for that to be the thing, you're like, fuck, how could this happen again? Yeah,
definitely, man. It's the worst feeling in the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But, no, way go. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, realistically, you've had quite a fair adventure in bow hunting. You've done most of the Australian animals. I mean, apart from the 6 deer, like you've got the scrub bulls, you've got the goats, you've got the pigs, you've got some of the deer, you've done the buffalo. When did you go and do your buff hunt?
That was a few years ago now. But yeah, that was awesome. Like, man, as a bow hunter, if you can get some time, that would be a hunt I'd definitely go on. I think it's just the adventure side of it, the area you go to. I was quite lucky at the time. Like, I got on with Alex Jagers from Big Country Safaris, and I knew a few other guys, Nigel Milgate and stuff, who had been up there, and he had family and friends and stuff up there, and got put onto and directed to some really, really good area with some good people. And I think just as a whole, that is a great trip.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it's got everything. Like, it's not just your hunting, you know, it's the communities out there.
Yeah.
What you go to see, the land you're on. Like, it's a full history. Like, I mean, I love, like, we've traveled all through Australia with the Forby, my partner and I, and like, you kind of do, like, to keep interested in it all, you got to follow the history of it, you know, the Burke Wills and everything. And but that was a trip and a half. That's some good awesome country up there.
It's very funny. I went to Europe a few years ago, and when we traveled through Europe, I was like, wow, this is such an old country. Like, Australian as history, as far as what we get told about, is so minimal. Like, it's literally like, oh yeah, Australia was founded, we built these, and that's kind of it. We don't really ever go back to the deep of, like, the Aboriginal days, and you don't really hear much of that history. So I think getting amongst those communities, like, the stuff you actually get to learn is awesome, right?
Yeah, no, that's definite, man. Like, it's bizarre, like, the school syllabus and the history that you do learn.
Yeah.
Like,
it's dismal, really.
Yeah, like, I really think there's so much more we should learn.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just, like, I mean, you can't help but be in awe, like, of, man, how they lived up there, how they still do live, you know?
Yeah.
And the access, and, like, it's good. Like, as soon as I got up there, like, Alex just threw me this book of, like, the Jawoon people and everything up there, and, like, how it all started, some of the politics stuff up there, and, like, it's crazy. It's its own world up there, man. It is literally, it's full of cowboys and crazy shit. And but it's cool. It's like, and I mean, when you're there, like, I'm walking on their land, so it's like if I come into your house or you come into mine, you know, you try to be relative, you try and talk, you try to find a common ground, and it's good to open up and listen to what they had to tell me. And it was good. We had some great yarns by the fire. That was really, really good people I met up there.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And so, I mean, you actually hunt. Oh, sorry, you actually film a lot of your hunts as well.
Yeah, I try to. That's originally how it all started, really.
Okay, tell us about it.
Yeah, so I've always been into a bit of filming, so I've always had a bunch of gear, and, like, I've always done a lot of surfing. Used to film a lot of surfing, and it's so dynamic. It's quite hard to film, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude.
And then being a passionate surfer too, like, you never want to film on big days. You want to surf yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
But then once I picked up the bow, like, it come part and parcel. And, like, to have a camera hanging off you, like, I just have, like, a quick release grip on my pack. So, like, it's always there.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, like, there's so much downtime, like, you know, in a hunt, and you see so much cool shit.
Yeah, freaking oath.
And you're always coming back trying to tell my partner or, you know, my other mates that hunt, like, man, I've seen this, like, this is good. So I was like, stuff it. I just took the camera and started filming, and
that's
that,
sick.
Like, one hobby led into another, I guess. And then I just kept learning how to edit and do different things. And originally GetnOutdoorz, was the avenue I'd originally would have liked to go down, you know, like, seeing Jerry Redmond's stuff and Brad Smith and then like, even what the Doomsday boys and that are doing. Like, obviously hunting's so visual, it's so controversial too. Like, so there is big stories to be told, and how it should be shown in a certain light and stuff. And
agreed.
There's so many Americans that do it so well. There's so many New Zealand guys too, like Hunter's Journal, like, you know, Jay Wilds. Like, there's some cool dudes out there really doing it. And I thought, man, I'm just going to try it. Like, let's give it a crack. And, you know, it takes a lot of time to film like the hunts and like get the full story.
Yeah.
So it's bits here and there, it's bits here and there. But now more and more, like I'm at a point now where I'd rather sometimes leave the bow behind, follow someone else with the camera.
That's incredible.
Like it's cool, man. Like you especially when you got all the gear and you can capture it in a certain way, and you got guys like, Bow Hunt Down Under and Jerry Redmond and that, and like you looking at their stuff, you're like, yes, all right, I could, you could do stuff like that, and you just you chase them. Like obviously it's never going to be as good as theirs, but
just capturing that hunt and bring it to life.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Keep trying till you.
Yeah, I mean,
till
it's
you get to that point, I guess.
It's not like it's amateur hour, right? Like you've actually done an incredible job. You're like everything just pieces together. I'm actually watching you buff one right now, like as we talk, just watching the slides and everything. And it's incredible artwork, really, is the best way to put it. So it's all self-filming, right? Like, do you ever get anyone to come out and follow along?
Nah, I still got a few mates that help out here and there, but more than likely it's pretty much all self-filmed.
Yeah.
And then maybe a few shots, like depending if a mate wants to grab that camera at that pinpoint in time, if I'm the hunter.
Yeah.
But normally, like, I think some of the better ones that I put out is when I'm filming somebody else.
Yeah, like you go
then you
hunt,
can
you guys
fully capture it. But
I liked that goat one that you and your friend went and did. That was cool.
That one come out cool. That's Tommy. Tommy's a legend.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that setup, like, have you ever played around with setting up a tripod to get the actual action shots as well of you taking the shot?
I have, but it is very difficult.
I was going to say, it must be so fucked.
It's like, it depends on where you're at too. Like, I think with a lot of my goat and pig stuff, like, it developed into, like you don't really want to be shooting stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where that filming side come into it. But then, like, because I like certain deer species and that, you kind of want to live in the moment as well, and you want to optimize your opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's every hunt's hard. It's like, do you take the camera or do you not take the camera?
Yeah, definitely.
But then you never, you don't take it and you wish you did.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you blow stalks and you're like, I wish I freaking left it at home. But yeah, like I like capturing it, and especially when a full film from start to finish, you do your edits, you add the music, you add the sound effects, you try your very best to make it as cinematic as you possibly can with the tools that you have at the time, and it comes out, nice, and people froth that. Oh, definitely, man, I'm stoked on that. That's good.
Man, I think the coolest thing is, like, obviously it's a moment, and it is something that you'll remember forever, but now you actually get to share that as well. And
that's it.
It's reliving it in a different way. Like, I don't know, like obviously putting the music to it and everything. I think it could be quite an interesting thing to do for yourself when you know how the hunt kind of plays out. It's like you knew where the suspense was kind of building up. So you're like, okay, what music brings in that part of the actual film? Like, how can I depict that to the viewers?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's, man, any film, photo, story, even like Instagram story, the key is to tell the story, have a storyline. Like, that's the first part. But like it is, and you do, like, you try and use all those tools, the sound effects, the music, and just paint it in a good light, I guess. Make it interesting, make it engaging. Yeah, that's the key at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. When I interviewed Hunter's Journal, they were like, look, so many people will film after the moment and be like, oh, this just happened, and it doesn't capture it very well. Whereas it's like you're saying, if you can have a storyline of you going through the process of it, it makes a big difference. Like the lead up to the actual thing as well as afterwards, like the lead up to the hunt and the afterwards, or the stalk or whatever it is. It's pretty interesting. But obviously sometimes when you're out in the bush and you're just moseying through or walking your way through, that's when you see a lot of stuff. And if you don't have, like you said, the quick release camera available, it can be really tough.
Yeah, they're the times you always wish you take it, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you get most of the times, like, sometimes you'll get opportunities where you don't have a bow shot. Like, you know, so you may as well use the camera.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's something you can refer back to if it's a stag you really want, or it's just cool. I don't know. I just dig having good footage of animals. Like, they're wild animals, man. Like, it's when you're that close to them.
Yeah, I think realistically, like, as hunters, like you said before, it's controversial now. Like, to be able to share what we actually go and experience is like what they think it is versus what we actually do. To be able to show that side of it, I think is pretty fascinating, and it really kind of opens a few people's eyes to, oh, it's not just a bloodthirsty sport. You guys are actually very interested in what animals do and animal movement and animal, like everything about the animals, right? Like, it's literally what we do it for.
Yeah, I always, like, I've got friends that probably aren't quite as fond of it as I am, and there is controversial topics at times, and that's what I always say, man, like, as long as it's a discussion, I'm happy to always talk.
Yeah.
But as soon as there's an argument, like, I just won't even respond.
Yeah.
But, like, I say to everyone before I even start, man, you have no idea how much we love them animals.
Definitely.
We know so much about them, more than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And then, like, man, it's like fishing. Like, pretty much all of my fishing is catch and release.
Yeah, okay.
And if I could do that with deer or any animal, like, obviously I would value the meat from it.
Yes, yeah.
And, you know, same as flathead fishing, same as brim fishing, you know, like, you take a few here and there, but predominantly it's catch and release, you know.
Yeah.
Like, especially that big black brim, like, 40 plus brim that's a 40-year-old fish.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I'm not taking that one home to dinner, you know.
Yeah.
If you could do that with bow hunting, I probably would.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the process of bow hunting, and you can't do that. So
yeah, exactly, dude. So, I mean, what is your kind of setup? What's your bow setup? What's your arrow weight setup and everything along the lines with that? For your, like, do you change your hunting setup depending on the animals you're chasing, or you keep it the same?
I do change that. So, like, up in Arnhem Land, I obviously shot quite a heavy arrow.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was probably 600. I think I was around 620 overall, with a bit more FOC. I shot a 175 Oscut up there. But my normal everyday setup is
a 2-blade.
Two blade. I've actually just started shooting a lot of 3 blades, just for a little bit more, like, blood channel. Big
wounds, yeah.
So, and I just, they fly pretty good too. So, like, with the Oscuts too, like a well-tuned bow, you can kind of swap out between a 3 and a 2 blade in the same weight.
Yeah, okay.
So I kind of float between a 2 blade and a 3 blade Oscut.
The Hurricanes, or just the straight 3 blades?
Nah, just the straight 3 blades.
Yeah, sick.
And, like, especially under 50, which I don't take too many shots over 50.
Yeah.
Their impact point's pretty close.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially, I don't know, have you seen the new ones they've just released? Like, it's like the revamped version of the 3-blade. Yeah, it's like a longer point, essentially. Like, it's just a longer head rather than it being short and stubby.
Yeah, I did see that. I think it's probably good sharpening purposes too, that longer blade, like maybe a bit easier too. So that it's interesting. I will definitely suss them out.
Man, I used the Hurricane for ages, and it's awesome. Like, I can't fault that. Like, the wound channel that it gave my animals, like the blood trails it left, everything was just perfect with it. And it was easy to sharpen. Like, realistically, it was a game changer for me using those broadheads. I love them.
That's the key. Like, you want a broadhead, you know, that doesn't fail, and like sharpen. Like, find one that is easy to sharpen for you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I guess, with any weaker steels. If it is easy to sharpen, it's not very durable. But that's just that in between, I guess. Like, I don't know. I've shot Oscuts for ages, and I can't fault them.
Yeah,
I've shot a lot of stuff, man. I've shot not a lot, I guess, but, like, because I've only ever used them virtually, like, you can't fault. Like, I shot my buffalo, shot my scrub bull, I've shot fallow, I shot russo, and they all work. So why change something if it doesn't need to be, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
I stick with it.
So, I mean, 175 for your buff. What do you normally run? 125?
And then every day is 150.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I shoot a Pro Defiant 34.
Yep.
With their 70-pound limbs, but twisted up, I think it pulls about 76.
Okay.
and I shoot a 250 spine.
Yep.
So, like, obviously, with Getting Outdoors, I've started to do my own arrows.
I was going to say, these are your arrows that you've been using?
Yeah. So, small scale at the moment, but my idea with that and the roll on with that is there's so much out there at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, obviously getting into bow hunting as well, it's hard to find a quality arrow made set for you.
Yeah.
So virtually the package that I offer is virtually full custom, but there's no change of colors or anything. You get what you're given with me.
Yep.
So if you were to just come and buy 12 arrows, you get your spine that you want, obviously that length that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then I only have the one aluminium outsert, which is, 40 grains.
Okay.
And then AAE 2.6 max stealth veins.
Yeah.
And I'll put them all together, ready to shoot. Boom. That's so. It. But yeah, like just like I got a lot of mates around here. I've got a lot of dudes. Like I've always made all the arrows up for myself, and a few dudes around here like, oh, can you just? And I was making a lot of arrows up for other guys, and I was like,
might as well.
All right, well, I want to try and make some dollars off this, I guess, if I'm doing this.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like they're just that little bit better. Like the fletchings and stuff, they're a little bit better. They're not like a standard vein, I guess, when you get a pre-made arrow.
Yeah.
You know, they're not a 30-inch long arrow. They're set to your size.
Yeah.
And they do still have all the outserts and all the good components as well. So.
And so when are you getting next shipment in of those? Because they're currently sold out, aren't they?
They are at the moment. I have one on order at the moment. It should be here in the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
is what they're telling me. So
yeah,
and that's a big order too. So we should be fully locked and loaded and ready to go.
So that's cool.
So yes.
And so in regards to that, like what sort of tuning are you doing to your arrows or seeing on your arrows? Like do you spine tune them and everything when they come to you, or they're kind of already pre-done?
Nah, so like it's just with what you select. So I'll only get 003 to 001 straightness shafts.
Yeah.
And then when I go through and I'll be making all these arrows, if I do by chance have these, like a dud, I guess, I do cut from both ends. Yeah. So I'll try my best to straighten them up as best as I can.
Yeah.
And then if it is really, really bad, I'll just more than likely what normally ends up, if it's the spine that I shoot, they're the ones that I end up shooting. But yeah, like I do my best to get the like 001 or like it's between 003 and 001. So I try to get it to 001 as much as I can.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And then the other stuff, like you've got some shirts and some hats and stuff there. Hey. Yeah.
So just bit of apparel, just some shirts, some hoodies, some 5-panel hats. Just, I don't know, just stuff that I would wear outside, and thought I'd slap my little logo on it and see how it go. But
I think that's
the
a good
5 panels are pretty
right?
sick.
Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like realistically, and this is what I did when we used to run clothing through our nutrition company. And I always just made shirts that I liked. I'm like, if I like it, then I'm sure other people will. And it always sold really well. We just ended up kind of cutting that half of our business, the apparel side. So it was just like, it was good while we dabbled in it, but that's all it was.
It's a lot of effort.
It is.
It's like, it really it's a lot more than everyone thinks. And just like getting samples and getting
carry
the right
stock
fits
once you've actually got it, and keeping your, I don't know, just your list of what you've actually got and stuff like that. Like it's a bit of a stuff around.
Yes, definitely. And then always wanting to throw new designs in. It's a spanner in the works. But it's fun. Like this was a hobby to start off with.
Yeah.
And like, obviously I do everything within a reason, within a money point. Like I haven't poured my whole life savings into any of these things. So I'm quite happy to let them ride. And that's it. The same with the video, same as everything. Throw it up. If it sticks, people like it, sweet. If not, it's not the end of the world.
No, definitely. At the end of the day, it's still, like you just said, something you could wear or something that you can watch, something you can enjoy.
That's it, yeah.
I think the cool thing about that, like you imagine going back and showing your grandkids, like, oh, yeah, They're like, let's see Granddad's hunting film again.
Yeah. No, well, that's it. Hopefully YouTube never crashes and pulls everything down, because like some of them, that's the only copies I have now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
definitely.
no, it is cool. Like the old movie night, man. Like we do it at home every now and again. Like mum and dad are always interested, and my brother and stuff. So when I come back from these trips and we go over for dinner at the oldies, you know, like we throw a few on, and
That's
it's
cool.
cool. I dig it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They're good memories. They're just like photos, I guess. Like just a little bit more visual, I guess.
Yeah. And so if you had the choice to hunt one animal for the rest of your life of the animals you've hunted, what would it be?
Oh, can I pick deer as a whole species?
That's a good loophole.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I cut my teeth hectic on pigs and goats because it was my first access, I guess.
Yeah.
And like those mountain hunts are like, I think that's what interests me the most is those mountain hunts, you know, there's overnighters, the short backpack trips.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but I love the rooster at home too. It's hard to say.
What's your kind of, I guess, your approach whenever you find a new group of animals, for instance? Like you kind of studied that rooster a fair chunk before it even all went to pieces or it all came together. Is that kind of your approach every time that you go out hunting? Like you've got a few blocks you've got access to. Are you pretty much just studying them and studying where the animals are the whole time? Or
I think with rooster, yes, because that's like, man, it's where I live. Like but then like other animals, you don't have that time. I think if you lived on a farm and you hunted your farm, definitely. That's exactly what I do. I think like maybe even yourself, you know, like when you go out, like you come home from every hunt kind of thinking you'd wonder what they're doing when you're not there, you know, like
definitely.
I think that's just the benefit with rooster, you know, you can get up high and you can, and I think that's to be good at it. Like you gotta watch them, the time, like anything, I guess, like any species, just time in the mountains, time looking, the more involved, the more information you can collect of that animal is always going to benefit you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's never going to disadvantage you, that's for sure.
I think that's always been my biggest problem. It's always like I've found them. I might find them day one. I'm like, okay, you got to make your plan to get in on them straight away rather than sitting back and watching them, like to watch them for a whole day and see what they're actually doing. And usually I'll track them for a bit and kind of see which direction they're going, and then I'll try set up for a game plan. But yeah, it would be interesting to kind of go in with the intent to not actually, and this is where I think going with the camera is awesome, to not actually shoot them and just see what they do and follow them for as long as you can. Like I know what they do kind of between 6 and 8 a.m., but what are they doing every hour after that?
That's exactly right. It's just, and that's like not all animals are patternable. Yeah. You know, like pigs are very
sporadic,
crazy, I guess. You know, they don't always follow the same patterns, but
especially some of those boars,
with certain
right?
deer, yeah. But you know, with those certain deer species that you can see and you can watch them, man, I reckon that's where you gain a lot of information that's very valuable.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
you pattern. Like especially like this time of the year, like I that's what I put down to my success on that run rooster was, you know, not disturbing him at that stage, because I probably was the first to have a crack at him.
Yeah.
You know, like he hasn't been spooked by anyone or anything, and you know, he's pretty chill, you know, like he'd been feeding, he'd been growing, and like you want to make that grand final day count, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, dude. No, I like it when you get to a location, and this has happened to me a lot recently. Like there's new parts of the property that I actually didn't know I didn't know that they were part of the property that I was hunting. I thought they were the neighbors' blocks. And so when I actually found out, I started like kind of going into these areas. I'm like, wow, this is like perfect deer country. And then all of a sudden you see some scat or you see some actual deer and you're like, oh, good. Like I'm starting to get the hang of what they're kind of looking for as well, just by being following them for years now, right? Like it's just you start to understand them as a species a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. Like you walk, you'd know now, like you walk into certain areas and you're just like, it's funny, like at the start of the process, like you'd walk into certain areas and be like, oh, there's sign here. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's that. But then like where they are, some of these areas are like, you can't not see it. You know, you can smell them, you can see it. They're just absolutely like torn these places to shreds, and you're like, you know, like, this is all right. Now I'm in the bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. I love that about pigs. When you get into a creek system where pigs have been, like, you can waft them, you can see all their trails. Like, I don't know, that excites me. And being that close quarters with pigs is just, I don't know, it's exhilarating.
Yeah. Nah, like, like same as some of those dry creek beds and stuff. Like, you know how just all them big tunnels and stuff. Rooster almost do the same.
Yeah.
Like, you get into these sections and it's like, it's so thick from the outside, and man, some of these spots I've like gone to walk into, I'm like, I'm never going to get through there. You get like 2 meters in and it just opens up, and it's like, this is like cubby house in here, man. Like, this, no wonder they love it in here, man. This is
giant
crazy.
Kids. Yeah. Never grown up, always playing cubby houses.
That's it, eh?
Dude, that's sick. No, I think, and it's interesting, kind of like we said at the start, just to see how they can maneuver through that stuff. But it's their home, so they're just easy with it. They just roll with it.
Yeah, they know. They live there, man. They know what's around. They know where to run to and where not to run to.
Yeah. With your fishing stuff, dude, have you just kind of always been a keen fisherman? Like, what came first, hunting or fishing?
Fishing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. Like, my parents lived right on the water of like this little estuary, I guess, which is kind of like, it was a micro estuary too, like quite small. Like, not many people would fish it because it was too small, but it was perfect for me growing up. Like, I just kayak, fishing rod, surf. Like, that's all I done until awesome. I found a bow. Yeah, definitely. And then now it's the same, but up in the mountains, I guess.
I think it's like the perfect little combo, right? Like, I can go to the beach and go for a surf. I can go to the country and go for a hunt. And those two things just fill my cup up. Like, I can go away for a hunt that's 3 days of grueling, just shitty weather, shitty hunting, but still come away just feeling so fresh and so happy.
Yeah, man.
And same for hunting. Same for surfing. Like, you can go out in waves that are, I don't know, 2 foot and miserable, barely push you along, or like 4 to 6 foot and they smash the hell out of you and it's miserable. But you come out of it and you're just still so happy. Like, it's just two things that I think really, I don't know, they're both pretty, I find, meditative, and I think realistically for me, they just fill my cup up. Like, I love them. Yeah,
that's, you've taken hunting obviously the complete right way, because that's the thing. Like, I've always surfed, and for me to paddle out, you forget about everything. Yeah, you never. Definitely. It's like I guess it's like going to the gym or going for a run. Like, you can want to not do it, but then once you've done it, you never regret it.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, definitely, like, time in the hills, like, just putting all your focus onto something other than work, jobs, life, your debts. Like, that's, you just gotta have a breath of fresh air. You gotta have something to unwind, and yeah, I'm the same, man. Surfing, fishing, hunting, they definitely do it for me.
What baffles me quite a lot, like, I talk to a lot of people just through gym and whatever else that I do, like even running the businesses that I run. I talk to a lot of people and asking people what they actually do for a hobby. Like, so many people just don't do anything. They just don't have hobbies. Like, they literally, they kind of go to work and they do their thing and then they get home and they don't do anything. It just, I don't know, it baffles me. It's like, how can you not?
I had this exact conversation with a bloke that I know not long ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I like any little hobby too. Like, I strive to try and be the best I can. I think that's just the competitiveness in me.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, I'm the same. Like, I can't. But then again, I guess people, their dog could be their whole life. Or,
yeah, definitely.
You know, their gym is the whole life. Or
were your parents like tinkerers or anything? Did they have their own little hobbies?
Oh, not so much, man. Like, my old boys always played golf.
Yeah.
I tried that. I still play golf from time to time. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just not, I didn't get enough from it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a very high concentration. I mean, bow hunting's the exact same, but it was, just not for me. I think maybe one day.
The more I got into bow hunting and the more I got into surfing, the more I started to like and understand golf. Also, once, like, I don't know, for a long time I've been like a sports coach and really like a mindset coach for good athletes.
Yeah.
Essentially is what I've helped people with. And the more I started to delve into that stuff, the more of an appreciation I really have for golf every time I'd go out and try it. And that shit's hard if you're not thinking of it. Like if you're thinking about too many other things like bow hunting or whatever else, like if you're not focused on what you're doing, it gets tough.
It's a long duration of concentration too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hunting can be the same. Bow hunting,
I definitely think so, yeah.
I mean, your concentration is like right there at the time of the shot and then playing all your cards right. But, man, to shoot a good round at golf and to stay under or even to play to your handicap or whatever, man, like it's solid concentration for a long 18 holes. Yeah. And I just, for a man with ADHD, I can't do that shit, eh? But then again, like bow hunting's really given me you learn the patient side of things. And I've never really been able to slow down for much, but bow hunting makes you slow down.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which is, like I'd take a lot from bow hunting in that side.
I think that's where ADHD is unexplained, right? Or is not explained properly to the general pop, because everyone just thinks, oh, this person has no attention for anything. But it's like, no, they have attention for things that they're interested in. And so you go put a kid in front of a school teacher who's boring as all buggery. Like, of course they're not going to listen. Like, it makes so much sense when you've got something that you're very interested in that you can slow down. You can do everything it takes to make it happen.
Once it's managed, it's a superpower, not a...
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah. But just takes a bit to manage it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, dude. And so what have you got coming up? What hunts do you have coming up?
So obviously I'll still keep pumping the rooster, or try to.
Yeah.
Up until the rut for the rooster. And then after that, I'd love to get back up north again. I was talking to Alex not long ago.
Yeah.
And I got a mate who's actually working at the Depiri Lodge up there now, for barra fishing as well. So
sick.
We'd love to get up there, my partner and I, and spend some time. It's just hard with time off, really.
Definitely.
Like that's the killer at the moment. But like our normal weekends, man, like a weekend off for us is where are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
you've got a car tent, don't you? Like a mattress on top of the car sort of thing.
Yeah, so a mate of mine's a aluminium welder, and it's very similar to a like an alu cab.
Yeah.
What they put on the troop carriers, but I built that into a canopy virtually.
Yeah, that's sick.
So that's our home away on wheels.
Yeah.
But we'll go chase goats, we'll go chase pigs, we just love being in the hills. Or if it's swell, we'll stay and we'll surf.
Yeah, that's sick. It's a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
We're really just going through setting up my car with the dual battery system so we can have the fridge kind of in there all the time.
Yeah.
We just went on a trip on the weekend and it rained all weekend. Like we got a camper trailer and we took it out and it rained all weekend. It was pretty miserable, but literally coming home and we had to set everything back up today, and I'm still so happy. Like I'm kind of beaming off of the weekend because it was the first time we went out and took my daughter out for her first like real camping trip.
Yeah, cool. How'd she go?
Oh, she loved it, dude. Like, and she's happy no matter what, really. Like, and she's stoked if she's with us. But to go out and explore, and I mean, really, it rained kind of like every hour. It would rain a little bit, so we'd go out for a little bit, then we'd pop back in under the tent, and I think that's good for her little legs. But at the same time, it was just nice to have that time with the family.
Yeah. But just getting away. Yeah. Like you feel like you've made use of your weekend, I guess. You've made use of your downtime, no matter how shitty or good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I made the canopy the way it is. Like if it's too hard to go away, then we'll never use it.
Yeah.
So, Tanae is stoked with it. She's up off the ground. It's as comfortable as it can be for her. And so we'll come home on a Friday and it's like, what do we got? Nah, there's nothing on. There's no board riders. There's nothing. Let's go. We're going.
That's sick. That's so good.
Pack the trucks. The Grizzles are coming.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, sick. So I think that's probably a good place to leave it, dude. So thank you very much for joining me. If anyone wants to jump on, you can follow Jack at which is, I'll just spell it out, GetN Outdoors with a Z at the end. So OUTD0. Oh my God. OORS. I fucked that up completely. Let me start again. It's GetnOutdoorz.
That's the one, man. That's the one.
And that's the same for your website. Is just GetnOutdoorz.com, right?
That's the one, man. That's it.
That's sick, dude. No, I really appreciate it, man. We'll have to have you on for another Rooster chat or some more fellow chat later.
Legend, man. No, thank you very much, Matty. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Likewise, dude. Appreciate it. That wraps up this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us, team. If you did have any topics, questions, or you wanted to suggest a guest for Becoming a Bow Hunter, you can send me an email at matty@becomingabowhunter.com. If you are enjoying the show or you've enjoyed in particular episodes, please do me a solid and share it around with your friends. If you are not already, please hit the subscribe button, as the more subscribers we get, the higher the podcast gets ranked, and that definitely helps out for showing it to other individuals. If you are not already following me on Instagram, it's at becomingabowhunter.podcast, and on YouTube, it's Becoming a Bow Hunter. Get out, team, fling some arrows, get that practice in, and walk those yards in the paddocks until you find those critters. That is it for now, but not the last time that you'll hear from Becoming a Bow Hunter.